everybody. Welcome back to another week, another fun-filled episode of Do the Damn Thing. My name is Laura Foy, and I'll be your host, but that's not important because this week we are joined by the magnificent, the fierce, the beautiful, the one and only Tori Torres. Tori, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Laura, for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
We are excited to learn about you and to hear your story and to just gather all that wisdom as much as we can in 30 minutes. Tori Torres is the CEO and founder of the Posh Girls Club, singular, which is a community for fierce, fabulous women. But before you did that, you actually have a really inspiring story of what events happened in your life to get you there. So can you give us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So years ago, we don't have to count exactly how many. I was a stay-at-home mommy. I eloped at 19, and I found myself in not the best marriage and really hadn't thought through what I was going to do to be able to not just support myself, because I've always been really ambitious and driven, but what I could do to thrive on my own and create a space for my sons to thrive and grow. Well, I didn't really have any money because we didn't think it through. And I was like, I don't recommend it. There's got to be a way to create something. I'm a creative. I can come up with something, like so many probably of your audience are. And I sold a product before I ever had a product. I thought about what I could sell well, what I knew, handbags, and how I could sell that to get to sell the thing that I wanted to. So found a supplier, figured out my price point, put together some amazing marketing, put it on eBay, which was really new. Now I'm dating myself. It was really new at the time. Sold the product, reinvested, and just kept building my business from there. Before you know it, I was selling to some of the biggest celebrities that there are. Paris Hilton. Right. She actually carried my clutch over Judith Lieber's at the time, which was insane.
Yeah, I saw. Was it the Kardashians carrying your goods? And is this stuff you designed?
Stuff that I designed.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. All over different TV shows, and I work with a lot of like the Bravo TV housewives and Rihanna, and then I got to design for Chloe and Beyonce. Yes, like from something that I legit started at home.
But how did they find you? I mean, this is every designer's dream. I mean, did you just get literally plucked from obscurity? Like, how did they even know who you were?
That's what I said. Well, I figured it out later on. So I designed for years before anyone cared. I mean, I was selling to like regular moms who loved like these socialites. And this is a part of branding and building a business. I didn't even realize what I was doing. But now, after looking back and starting the Posh Girls Club, I was targeting their audiences. And so eventually those people started to see my content. More like their people. So I got invited backstage to the different events, BET Awards, MTV, for backstage swag. That's where I actually met Chloe. Okay. That photo that I have of Chloe on my site, I was standing right next to her when they took it. So the exposure, the building the brand, the being intentional about the audience. People are always like, how do you get to that point? Well, I was just very intentional about my audience, who the customer was. I tell people all the time, that is the key. You got to know who your customer is, because if you talk to them, it's like magic, everything else. Only to them, who cares what anyone else thinks? And that's what we do at the Posh Girls Club.
So was your customer socialites and celebrities, or was your customer originally, moms who need a quality handbag?
It was their audiences. So I used like designer-inspired styles. If Paris was carrying something that looked similar to a style we had,
right,
I knew Paris's audience would love this design because they can't have Paris.
Oh, I see. So you're targeting the celebrities' audiences.
That's right. And so, but that was phase one. So that got me to be able to actually afford to buy the products that I wanted to sell, the thing I wanted to sell, which was bling. So then I started designing bling. People were just paying more and more attention to my brand as I transitioned. And I created designs unlike what other people were doing. But again, it was still targeting those moms, those stay-at-home moms like myself, young college students, because I was still young to be a stay-at-home mommy at that point. But I figured out the, what do they call it, the formula. And so I was able to do it again with bling, and those are the products that the celebrities I ended up taking that product backstage, doing swag and growing my brand.
So what sounds like you did is you amassed all of this knowledge and you decided, hey, I'm going to share this with people, where I think some people would be like, I'm going to keep this. This is
right.
I don't want anyone else to be climbing my coattails or whatever, like you had a different attitude. Is that right?
That is very true. And this is, I think, what my USP is. This is my unique selling proposition. This is my magic. And I hear it in every single realm that I do business in. People are like, Tori, I don't understand how you're this way. And here's why. I have magic. Laura has magic. The women in her community have magic. Women in my community have magic. And it's individual. Mm-hmm. Me shining doesn't change the fact that you shine. Even if we do the exact same thing, it's not going to take away from your magic. And so even if women want to come and they want to learn how to build like the Posh Girls Club, I get a lot of women who do. They want to know how I built the influence, how I built to 1 million followers in 2.5 years. I'm more than willing to share that information with them because they're going to do it in their way.
Wow. So that's one, that's just a beautiful attitude to have. I respect it. I share in it with you. One of the things we do at HipCat Society is we're all about providing value and being generous and authentic. So I think we really are similar souls in that way. And I totally respect that about you. So let's talk about the Posh Girls Club. So you've got this brand, it's booming, you're hanging out with the celebs, you're backstage at BET, Chloe's on speed dial, and this is how I'm envisioning it. This is my world, and I just, you're on a pedestal now. And so, and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna build something else. Like, I'm not busy enough. I need more, and some kids on top of it.
That's it. A couple of boys in baseball games. Not a big deal. Teams.
We are women. We could do it all.
We're breadwinners. That is where my whole breadwinner concept comes from. Like, we, as women, we do so much. And, now we're building multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar companies. It took a lot. Like, the people in my life didn't understand that they, just didn't get me. Like, I mean, from my own mommy to the other women in my life, to my husband at the time. And I want, on the Posh Girls Club platform, to be able to remove that stigma. It's not just a thing that we say that, oh, we want to teach you how to be self-sufficient. And no, I live and breathe that, because I remember what it felt like for people to judge and that I work so much while being a new mommy. But now my sons, who are 18 and 16, they look back. And in fact, we were in the truck the other day, and Christian was like, man, mommy, look what you did. Look what you've done. Look what you do.
Nice. So, I can only hope that one day my son feels the same way, as now I'm constantly like, mommy's working. We've got a question out there in the audience. By the way, this is live on Facebook, so if anyone watching would like to ask a question from the brilliant Tori Torres, just go ahead and put it in the chat. And feel free to throw us a like on Facebook. So Shannon wants to know that, she's asking, have you seen a change in how you have to support the ladies in your clubs? What do they need really right now to be strong and creative as compared to the past? So, these are, revolutionary and ever-changing times that we're going through. She also thinks that your story could be so helpful for so many people. And so she's grateful that you shared it with us. So how do you support them differently now than before?
Yeah, so that is a great question, first of all, and thank you for that question. I think the important thing now, more than ever, we've grown up in a time where social media was very, for lack of a better word, inauthentic. Is that a word? Yeah. It was. Yeah. And I have always felt very strongly that authenticity rules. You can never be caught off guard if you're authentic and you're your real self, right? And so when you're building your business, be who you are, and your people will support you. They will follow you. They will buy from you. They will love you. They will know, like, and trust you. When brands talk about the know, like, and trust factor, that's a real and present thing. So the more authentic you are in your brand as you're building and using your magic,
Right.
the quicker you will build. And that's I always say lead with that.
Nice, absolutely. Whitney says, "Yes, authenticity rules," and it is, and it's so true. So, how did you get there? So, like I said, you were running your very successful business backstage, and then what is step one? Like for those people out there who may be watching who are like, either one, they want to know what these communities are because maybe they'll join yours, or they want to build their own. Like, how do you go about that? What do you do on day one?
On day one, you get very clear about your plan. You have to know what the journey is that you want to send your customer through. So in my coaching or in our SOCIALIZE society, one of the things that I teach is creating brand pillars. So if you are very clear on, I know that in pillar one, I need to teach you how to brand first and build on your magic. And then I want to get you to being able to create a full product offer. So what are all the stages that a product offer that you can repeat over and over? So once we get through building it, now it's rinse and repeat that process. So
right, scale it, nail it, scale it.
That's right. So if you wanted to begin, the first thing to do is think about what your brand pillars are going to be. Where do you want to take your customer in your business?
Mm-hmm.
Outline it. Take the time to think about it. Be intentional in creating that initial plan before you execute anything.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people, and myself included, get so excited by certain things that you imagine they're going to be like, because you don't know what they're going to be like, right? That you jump in and maybe don't build the foundation, right? And don't take the time to really, like you said, set out your goals, build a roadmap, like that's so important to do that. Is that something that you guys help with at the Posh Girls Club?
Yeah, absolutely. So I help in 3 different ways for doing this. Number one is the SOCIALIZE Society, which is my membership. It's $29 a month because that's an entry point for people where they're getting one business bundle every single month. And the assistance, I help with every single thing. So it's very hands-on even in that.
You personally?
I personally, yes, I have a team that does other things, but they can tag me in the group if they've got questions and they need help, because I think that's important. If you're selling a product to people to help them make their lives better, access is really important, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the other 2 ways would be, and I have 2 courses that are accelerated that teach the same things, but all of them can be found on the Posh Girls Club website.
Absolutely. Now I want to take a look here real quick at your Instagram, because I think that your Instagram is beautiful and well done. And let me make sure this is working. So what is your strategy when working in social media? Did you decide to focus solely on Instagram? Do you spend as much time on Facebook? And what would you say to somebody in terms of developing their social media strategy?
So for me, most of my activity and engagement happens on Instagram. Of course, I'm connected to the other platforms. I think LinkedIn is really important depending on the type of business that you're building. Of course, you never want to not be on Twitter. It's just a given. The things that you can connect to Instagram, you should connect. Facebook as well is good for like things like this.
Right.
So for me, Instagram is my focus. I always think about whatever my product offer is for the month. And it's funny because I had someone working with me once and she was like, Tori is so intentional about every single post. So next month, we're going to be talking about career babes. We're going to be working with those women who are in a career space. I've got a career coach that we've been putting together content for the last few months. So you're going to see a lot more content that's based around the funny career memes and things specifically for the businesswoman who doesn't really want to be an entrepreneur, right? So you got to be intentional. It's not just they may be funny, they may be sassy, but there is a whole intent and a plan that goes into every single month's content, which I
Yeah,
do
well,
myself.
your Instagram is beautiful, and one of the things I love about it is that it's very clean looking, first of all, and it's very like simplistic or modern. I don't know the right words. I'm not a designer, but in its design, and I find that one of the things that people say is like, well, it's Instagram. I'd have to have beautiful photography, or I have to be a professional videographer, or have a great design team. And I don't know, maybe you do, but I would say no, you don't.
No.
I would say that for the most part, with you can make it look as beautiful as you with a million followers. With I don't know, do you have specific design tools that you use?
I do, and it's one, and it's very simple. I love Canva. Canva is simple. It gives you, if you have zero skill in creating posts,
Mm-hmm.
you can use Canva to create, just change the colors and change the photos that they put up for you. Also, Planoly, I use just to throw my content over once it's designed, just so that I'm making sure that I'm still in the feel and the look and the energy that I want to attract. And also for growth hacking, by the way, specific graphics or specific colors, because it helps you hack the algorithm. So just a little tip there.
Oh, interesting. So Laura McCarley wants to know. She says you've clearly been working your butt off for a long time. You've got a lot of different things going on, many different businesses. What advice do you have for someone just starting out? And I think this is really valuable for. I'm sure you can speak to many different industries. So whether they want to join the fashion industry or whether they wanted to build an online community, like what would you say to that entrepreneur who is kind of stuck and doesn't know where to go?
Well, the first thing I would say is to really, again, just have clarity on what you want to do. Don't spend, and a lot of people, what they'll do is look at like what other people are doing and think that they have to do and go along that line. I've been trapped in that rut before. Being clear on this is why brand pillars is so important. It's so important because it makes you, and that's literally, it's the first thing you got to do when you come into PGC, because it helps you align and get clarity on who you are, your brand, what you want to put in the world, why you want to put it in the world, who you want to put it in the world for, what you want it to look like. I do that all the time. This time.
Sorry.
No worries. What you want it to look like. Those are all things that as you start thinking them through and writing them out and meditating on them and letting them get into your soul in clarity,
Yeah.
that is how it all starts to come together. And that's why I do a lot of things. I work with Silicon Valley startups and helping them build influencer platforms, help them do a lot of these things we're talking about. I work with brand new startups who have $0. I work
Right.
with mid-level, middle-class women. So I recommend the same thing to all of them. Brand pillars first, clarity, knowing what you want to do. And then if you want to look and think about, I like the way this brand does this. Let me pull a little bit of that magic that's working for them into
Right.
but you got to start on your own, from your own point of view and
Right.
perspective.
Right. And that's so true. I mean, one of the things we really talk about a lot at HipCat Society is that, as you touched on, authenticity. And you really have to know yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have to come from that genuine place, whether that's coming up with 5 adjectives that describe yourself or just being really clear on your intentions. And I think that that's often an overlooked aspect to it all. You know what I mean? People want to focus on the product or maybe focus on how much they can sell it for, and focus on the profits. But it's really you're putting the chicken before the egg there.
Right. You got to focus on the value.
Focus
That and that is another pointer, is focusing on the value that you're bringing your audience, because that's how you'll sell to them. You'll sell easily if you know the value that you are bringing them and you provide them with that value from a genuine. Selling is very different than it was before. People are used to the funnels, the upsells, this webinar leading to this. So if you find the place of authenticity and you connect that to the value through the pillars, which will help you develop and understand what that is and use that forever in your brand, you can sell anything, because then you're not just a brand that's selling a product. You can sell, you can have affiliate partnerships. You can build partnerships with bigger brands like we did with Samcart. You can monetize more than just the product or the service that you sell. And that's when you really start hitting the 6 and the 7-figure mark.
Right.
That's when it all comes together.
Now, you are clearly a wealth of knowledge. Did you pick this all up on your own, or did you have a mentor? Was somebody showing you the way? Because, I mean, you're buttoned up, Tori. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't, none of this existed when I started. What everyone is getting is legit like what I had to learn. And there weren't communities. MySpace was brand new. I decided I was going to sell on MySpace. I was like, I don't need a MySpace profile. But what I do want to do is sell these blinged out phones on MySpace. And so that's what I did. It just made sense to me. And I took it from there to eBay and just kept scaling it. And I just followed my instinct. And a lot of time, if you do that, you'll find yourself in a very beautiful space. That's why it's important to connect to yourself and not what everyone else is doing all the time.
Nice, nice. Now, what's a typical day life like for you? Do you focus more on one brand than another? Is it all about coaching? Is every day crazy?
A little crazy in every day. We're going to say there's a little crazy in every day.
I mean, I couldn't even track down what time zone you were in, Tori.
I had just brought on a new assistant, and so it was funny watching the emails come in of her trying to figure out how to get this booked. But yeah, so one of the things that I love to start with in the morning is, first of all, coffee before the walk. Gotta have the coffee first.
All right.
I think it's important, even before I get out of bed, there's a moment where I'm just getting clarity. I'm just thinking about how grateful I am that I get to wake up the way that I do and all those kinds of things. That is a whole part of every single day. I am a big outliner of things, so I use my iPhone. I'll use my phone to just throw notes in. I'm obsessed with the notes in the iPhone, and you will find the cutest little, like, I've got my logo there and bullet points of what I want to do every day. That's actually the last thing I do each day, so I have an outline before I start, and then I just start to execute those things. So every day already, I use Asana, my favorite tool to just, because you can move tasks around, because you know what, every day I'm not going to get to every single thing, and that's okay. I'll have like 4 main tasks, and I'll tag my assistant on them. I'll tag other members of my team, and just really try to get everything monthly out into that calendar so that I've got clarity on what I can expect to be doing each day without overwhelm.
Right, right. And you would say that same strategy works for people just starting out? Like, it's all about being clear and task oriented?
I think so. See, what I don't want people to do is get stuck on just planning, but I think having clarity. So if you know, and here's a quick way of doing that as well. So every year I'll outline the main things that I want to accomplish for the year. Now I work backwards to get to that point. What are the 4 things I'll need to do each quarter to execute very well? Break the quarter down into monthly, break the monthly down into weekly, and break the weekly down into daily. That is legitimately how I plan my whole life every year.
Do you have all your dinners planned out and your kids' lunches and all? I mean, you seem really organized.
It's that part of my life is just a hot mess. No.
Okay. Well, good. At least you became a little bit more relatable there.
Do you really do that? I really do this. Like, if you see my planners, they're actually done that way. I wish I knew how to share my screen for my Asana, because you'd be like, she's actually serious.
I believe you. I mean, you didn't get to where you are by being disorganized. Now, you mentioned Asana. Are there other tools that you think people would really be helped by using?
100%. I have a list of 10 of them on the website, poshgirlsclub.com. And they're also on my Instagram at the Posh Girls Club. There's a list, business launch kit, I think it's called, and you can download it. It's free, just to tell some of my favorite tools. But like, I'm obsessed with Samcart. Everyone knows I love Brian and Scott. Those are my guys. An email platform, whichever one you're going to choose. I love Kajabi. And I actually took time putting this resource together. It's a free resource. I wanted people to know why I like these things and why I use them specifically in my business and how they help me and how they can help them. So it's broken down very.
Nice, nice. I should have known that you had an organized answer for that. And as you said, it's free. People can grab that for
I
free.
can go right to my Instagram, and it's called Business Launch Kit. It's on
Awesome.
my link tree.
Now you keep mentioning Samcart. Is that a funnel builder? I'm not familiar with Samcart.
Yeah, so if people are using if you're, this is what I teach, simplified selling, right? Because all of these long tricks and funnels that people are spending all their time doing that drains them and then has a lot of people just giving up. This product will help them. You can sell whether you have a website, don't have a website. You'll see me on their page. I am an ambassador, a affiliate for Samcart, but it's because from the second I used it 3 years ago, when I started the Posh Girls Club, that thing has made me so much money because and so I tell you, if you're starting a business, use it, because I use it still, and I pay to use it. I'm not paid to use it. I pay to use it, and it is the one resource that I would not use in my business. So
Wow, wow, very nice, very nice. Now, let's talk a little bit about the people that join the Posh Girls Club. Do you focus on a specific niche or industry or level of success? Who's it good for?
So the great thing about the Posh Girls Club is that there are various levels. So I start with complete free resources that are going to be impactful. You can watch on my YouTube tons of videos, and people would always be like, Tori, how do you make money? You tell everything. Well, for the people that don't need me, they don't need me. But the people that do, they start to understand a little bit more in every single step of the way. And we help people where they are. So whether you're planning, launching, or scaling, there is something there for you. Whatever level I get to, and I know and I understand, and I can turn around and teach someone else, that's what I teach them. And we're now coming into the 7-figure range. So
Nice.
That's where we are. So if you're learning anything from zero to that point, I've got some.
You've got something.
Share.
Now, I did see that you guys are doing a virtual event. Now, pre-COVID, were you doing live events?
I was. I had a really amazing retreat last October in California, in LA, where the girls came for 4 days and we worked on their businesses in person. I don't do the typical retreat. We're going to get together. We're going to work on your business plan. We're going to help from putting your brand together individually, finding the types of graphics that you're going to need, putting together the messaging, writing your emails. That's how intensive.
That sounds awesome. That sounds amazing.
Yes.
Maybe some wine.
Yeah. The wine for sure. But we'll be hopefully able to do that again in this coming year. That is a part of the plans.
Awesome. Well, what can they expect from the virtual summit?
So from the virtual summit, what we're planning is, number one, mindset with Kyle, my mindset coach. I just loved him so much. He's so impactful in my life that I decided to bring him in as the mindset coach inside of the SOCIALIZE Society, because if you don't even believe that you can do things, or you might think maybe sort of, you won't have success. That's just the reality. What you think is true. That's part one. Kyle's going to lead with mindset. I've got, like I said, our new career coach who's coming in to share value for our career babes, because we don't want to leave anyone out. I'll lead entrepreneurship and the customer journey and how you build that for your customer. And then I have Tracy, who I am a part of her TV show over at Bebo Weekly, and she's going to teach you how to get the press.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Well, this went by so quickly. We are, in fact, out of time, but I wanted to give you a quick minute to just shout out all the different places and websites and that people can find you. And of course, we will put them in all of the descriptions down below, but let's hear it from Tori's mouth directly. Where can they get access to you?
So the first place you can find me is on Instagram with our almost 1 million follower network, the Posh Girls Club. And of course, the website poshgirlsclub.com, and on Facebook at Posh Girls Club.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The name of the show is do the damn thing, and we're trying to, talk to those people who maybe are a little bit blocked, and just like you said, even if it's not perfect yet, just do it. You don't want to get stuck planning. Just do it. And then that's kind of what we live by. That's why I do this show. Just do it. May not be perfect, but I appreciate you.
Go for it.
I appreciate you so much coming on and sharing your time. I know you're super busy, and I hope that we can meet up sometime soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. It's my pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.